begin our meeting this evening of our City of Aiken Design Review Board, and we appreciate you all's being a part of this process in which our Design Review Board assists property owners in making improvements to their homes and businesses in the Historic District and the Downtown Overlay Districts. We have an agenda here you may have copies of, but usually what we begin by reviewing the minutes from our last meeting. I think that would be the December.
Right. So, Mr. Chair, there was a mix-up. We do not have the December minutes in your packet, so those will be on there next.
Okay, so we're not really approving any. We've already done November.
I believe we've already done November, correct, yes.
Okay, we won't do that right at the outset.
Excuse me, but didn't we only had a work session?
Correct, it was only a work session.
In December, so we
Correct.
didn't meet in here to approve the minutes of November.
So you haven't approved the, right, sorry,
So
yes.
we
You haven't
do have
approved the
November.
November minutes yet, that's why that's correct.
Okay,
Sorry.
good, thank you. Well, you all go ahead and continue to review those. I couldn't remember why we had a month, those were a month old, but that explains it. And then after that, we'll have an election of officers, and then we'll proceed with the new business and the items on the agenda. Which time we'll read the application and then ask whoever is representing the applicant just to come to this center. Not quite yet, but after we read our application, we'll have you all, Richard most likely, come and give your name for that application. Okay. Now, I assume you all have had a chance to review the minutes. Do I hear a motion for the November 7th minutes for the work session and regular meeting?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 7th, 2017 work session and regular meeting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Second.
Okay, good. I have a motion second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, the minutes are approved for November. And then we'll go ahead and open the nomination process for chair. And you're welcome to nominate anyone you like, or as many as you want, and then we'll have an election for chair, and then we'll do vice chair, and then we'll do secretary. Do I hear any nominations?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to recommend or nominate yourself, McDonald Law, for the chairman.
Okay.
Second.
I move that we close nominations.
Okay, sounds like a railroad coming down the tracks. Oh, all right, then all in favor of closing the nominations, raise your right hand. Okay. All right, and then that, I think, elects me by acclamation, does it not?
Yes.
I believe, since we have one nomination. All right. Now, any nominations for vice chair?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate the present vice chair to repeat the position.
Lucy Knowles, then, is her name is in nomination. Any other nominations? Somebody like to close the nomination?
I recommend we close the nomination.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of closing nominations? Nominations now closed. So the current vice chair is re-elected then, in that position. And now we also need to elect a chair, a secretary. And previously, Ryan has served in that capacity. I guess we ought to go ahead and officially give him that title until we have someone that we wish to put in that position. Would you all like to officially recommend nomination of Ryan then?
I'd like to recommend Ryan Bland for the secretary.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay, I think we have our slate. Thank you. Okay, I believe, Mr. Secretary, we can have you begin now with this application, item 3B.
All right. Item 3B is a application for designation on the local historic register for property at 235 Richland Avenue. That's at the southeast corner of Richland and Lawrence, the Hotel Aiken. Per our designation criteria in section 5.2.2.b of the zoning ordinance, the board may recommend approval of or recommend designation if the following criteria are met. That one, the property is of significance in American South Carolina or Aiken history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, or culture. And two, it is integrity of location, design, setting, materials, or workmanship that need to be protected or preserved and meets one of the following criteria. It is associated with events that have made significant contribution to history. It is associated with the lives of persons significant in history. It has distinctive characteristics of type, period, or method of architecture or construction, represents the work of a master, possesses high artistic values, or represents significant and distinguishable entity whose components may lack individual distinction. It has yielded or likely to yield information important in prehistory or history, or it is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So you are a recommending body in this case, at which time your recommendation will be forwarded to the Planning Commission and then ultimately decided based on their recommendation to the City Council, who would need to approve by reading of an ordinance, 2 readings of an ordinance to designate on the local register. And the applicant has submitted materials in response to the designation criteria.
Good. Thank you. And we'll go ahead now and ask the representative of the applicant just to come to the center lectern and state your name for the record and your residence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Richard Rao. I'm an architect, 433 Bishop Street, Atlanta, Georgia.
And you don't have, you know, you may, if you have something additional to add, you don't have to go through the whole report.
I don't, beyond what the 40-page document that I submitted as our application, in which we listed a description of the property and the building. We described how it meets the designation criteria. We submitted a boundary survey, and we submitted various photographs, and we explained how we felt the building was eligible for designation for the Aiken Historic Register, and we respectfully ask that you do that.
Great. I'll compliment you on the thoroughness of the document, and it's a very good start on the actual designation and possible approval for the tax credit. Do anyone have any further questions about this that maybe we need to resolve, or okay, good. I think it's a very comprehensive document, and we'll use it as a starting point for the next phases. And if we don't have questions, we can go ahead and let you sit down. We'll ask if others have comments, either for or against this application. You feel free to come forward. If not, we'll proceed with a motion, and we can still have some discussion.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend to the Planning Commission to approve this request for designation of the Hotel Aiken as a historic site for the Aiken Historic Register. And for the reasons that the building is significant in Aiken history, because it's been on that site since the 1890s, and it's been a big contributor to the downtown and the Aiken Winter Colony, and the architecture is significant because it's an example of colonial revival architecture. Then as far as criteria number 2 is concerned, it's associated again with the Aiken Winter Colony, which was a significant event in Aiken history. It's associated with lives of persons significant to Aiken's history, specifically the Hans and the Hollies. It has the distinctive colonial revival architecture, and is the work of a significant regional architectural firm, Scruggs and Ewing. And I think that's probably covers most of it.
It does, thank you. That, it has integrity of location. It's been in that location, as you said, since 1896. Is there any discussion? Okay, we have a motion. Would you like to second?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give a second
Okay,
to
okay.
Lisa's motion.
Well, I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in downtown Aiken. This chronology of the different phases of work and the people involved. It's a very good document. We appreciate your effort and your hours on putting this together.
Yes, I would, definitely the application supports listing on the Aiken Historic Register.
Right. Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve this and recommend it for designation, raise your right hand. Okay. It's approved. Ready to go to the next step. Thank you. Okay, let's see. We have any other business? I don't believe we have anything else. Do we? Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.